Fly fishing for pike has become more and more popular in recent years. Today I'm here with Bodo Funke, who is a professional angling guide and who has specialized in fly fishing for pike. So Bodo, for a beginner, what type of basic kit would you recommend for fly fishing for pike?
All right, Marcus. For anybody wanting to start fly fishing for pike, which I would recommend, it's great fun. You need a basic outfit, 9-foot rod, a 9 weight minimum, 10 weight I'd prefer, just to be able to bully those bigger fish. You always remember with pike, they grow quite large in these waters. You could bump into a 20-pound fish, so you want to be able to hold on to them.
Okay.
So I prefer a 10 weight, but anyway, that's it. You need a reel, enough capacity to hold a bit of backing. A pike will seldom take you into the backing, but it's good to have it. It fills up your reel and your line will be placed nicer. You have no memory. Fly lines, we'll talk more about that later on, I think. And of course then a leader and a suitable pike fly.
Okay. So Bodo, you mentioned the fly line. Are there any special types of lines, different densities that you would recommend?
It's good to have a couple of different density lines with you to cover different situations, different water depths. The pike at different times of the year hold up in different areas. Springtime they're usually in shallow bays, weedy areas. You'll be fishing anywhere between maybe 4 foot and 10 foot. So you're looking for a floating line, maybe an intermediate line. An intermediate line is probably the best line for anybody looking to start off on a budget. You just get away with it for most situations.
Okay.
That's what I'm fishing here today as well. It's a weight forward line with a nice big belly, nice thick line, easy casting. Don't need many false casts. You can just shoot out your fly easy, and that's what you need.
Yeah, I see they're quite bulky flies. What type of flies would you then recommend actually?
That's a lovely fly actually. It's one of those pike track flies from the UK. It sheds the water very easy. There's not much material in it, as you can see, and it's easy casting.
Okay.
Which is great for somebody beginning this.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a bulky fly, but it's actually light to cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can see the profile. It's huge, but there's very little material in it, so it's very light to cast.
And
Very easy cast.
What do you try to mimic?
Yeah, we're fishing for a predator, so it's not insects. We're trying to mimic fish, probably injured fish or fleeing bait fish.
Okay.
This is, of course, not a natural pattern. It's more a fire tiger pattern, but it's still it's attractive. Orange belly is, with lure fishing, often a go-to color.
Okay.
And pike just love to hit these.
Good. How do you actually get these flies to work now in the water? Do you retrieve them in different ways?
Of course you do, yeah. Different flies need a different retrieve, but generally speaking, a lot of the flies mimic bait fish. This one mimics a little perch, and so you want to mimic an injured bait fish, for instance. So you'll be moving erratic, stop and go. That's what pike like. They see something moving and stop. They think it's maybe a wounded bait fish and they go for it. That's what you want to achieve. So you cast your flies and you start stripping. A lot of the pike fishing in Ireland is done from boats, so usually from a drifting boat. That way you can cover more spots. You get into the nice pikey looking areas, weedy bays or God knows what structure. So when you're on a drifting boat, you'll have to compensate for the drift speed of the boat. When you're drifting with the wind, you cast your fly and strip it in fast enough for the fly to move. Remember, keep it erratic.
Okay.
This one is something a bit bigger, a bit more material. It pulses lovely in the water, and that's
quite
the
bulky.
effect. Quite bulky, quite big, lovely target for a pike. And this, you can imagine if you strip this and stop, all this material pulses, and that's the effect you want to achieve.
Okay. As we all know, pike are very toothy. I've heard of many fish being lost that cut the trace. If you attach your fly to the leader, what do you do actually?
Good that you mention it, of course, very important. With all pike fishing, you always need a wire trace, something tooth-proof. So I use a wire trace tied onto fluorocarbon, 25-pound fluorocarbon, maybe 4 or 5 feet, that's plenty.
Okay.
Use a uni knot connection. I have my 7x7 steel and I crimp on a clip.
Okay.
Some people don't like clips. If I use a clip at all, I use a strong clip. Remember, you don't want any weak links, and then you can change your flies quickly.
So pike are toothy critters, but it is widely known that they're actually not as hardy as they may look. So particularly when you're fishing catch and release, are there any recommendations that you could give?
Absolutely, Marcus, yeah. Good point to raise. Pike are they have a ferocious image. They're big predators, big teeth, but they're actually quite fragile.
Okay.
So we need to look after them. We practice catch and release with them 100% all the time. But it's not just good enough to say we do catch and release, you have to look after them, so you have to do it right. So in order to do that, you have to have a few items. I have an unhooking mat.
Okay.
So if you need to bring a pike into the boat, I often don't even bring them into the boat, but if you bring them into the boat, you want a soft surface to lay the pike up on, unhook him, and take the fly out. The fly should be debarbed, preferably, or barbless to start with. If it's a barb fly, just crush the barb, makes it so much easier, and you don't lose many more fish because of it, or any at all, because it's just beautiful. Single hook, quickly unhook, job done. For that, you need unhooking tools, proper pliers. I wouldn't recommend forceps. They're great for deadbait fishing, but they haven't got enough leverage if you need to pull a big hook out of a pike's mouth. So long forceps.
Quite long, actually.
Quite long to get down into those deep, big pike mouths.
Right.
Another consideration, Marcus, would be to have a large landing net. Easy to get the fish into the net in the first place, to land your fish when you have him on, when he's played out. And for that reason, you should have a large net. It makes it so much easier. The mesh should be knotless, preferably rubber coated.
Right.
So your hook doesn't get caught up in it, it doesn't take that slime off the fish.
Okay.
And make them so much more vulnerable to infections.
Bodo, we have talked so much about welfare of the pike. Now what about welfare of the angler? Is there anything you would recommend?
Yeah, of course. First and most foremost is a life jacket. When you're underwater in a boat, you need to wear one. So that's the first thing. Secondly, when you're fly fishing, you should wear a hat, just in case. It's always a danger when you're fly fishing and casting flies.
Huge hooks.
Huge hooks, and you could get a fly stuck in your head, and you don't want that. So a hat is protection. Secondly, very important, pair of glasses.
Okay.
Polarized glasses help you with fishing anyway. You can take the glare off the water and protect your eyes,
but
most important.
Most important to protect your eyes. Okay. So now that we know what's required, Bodo, I would suggest we head out and try to get some of those hard-fighting Irish pike, okay?
Let's go do that, Marcus.
Good idea. Super.
Let's head out.
Okay.
Look at that. Cracker.
Wow. Lively one.
Not happy.
What a beauty, huh?
Oh, the beauty. Look at that deep fish. What a fish, Marcus.
Huh? Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Deep fish.
Beautiful deep fish.
Beautiful. Make the meter.
Yeah. She's not the meter, but she's 97.
Hey.